So I'm Laura Drake. I have, as John said, global field and partner marketing at CA. I have been at CA for 18 years, so I'll just start with that. I'm actually a very proud member of the CA family. Erica on my team?
Yeah, so I've been with CA for 4 years, and I've always been in field marketing with them, and prior to CA I was with Microsoft, also in field marketing.
All right, so a little bit about CA. So we are an enterprise software company, 40-year mainframe heritage. So that was, we recently, our CMO joined us just over 3 years ago. And her first order of business was to kind of change that perception that we are a mainframe company. And so she started with branding and just rebranding the company. And we started with a new ad campaign, and it was business rewritten by software. And no, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, sorry, I got excited.
We're clicking. So basically, it was the application economy. So we live in the application economy. And we kind of branded that. And now if you actually Google that, other people are saying it. HP is saying it. We are saying it. But there's a story about business written by software and the application economy with our CEO. So our CEO, Mike Gregoire, went to the World Economic Forum a couple of years ago when we actually first launched this campaign. And he met Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, who doesn't really need much introduction. When you see him, you know who he is. And Mike introduced himself and said, I'm Mike Gregoire. I am the CEO of CA Technologies, a software company. And Jamie said to him, well, I'm Jamie Dimon, and I'm in the financial industry, but I too am a software company. And that just validated what we're doing, what our branding is, right? That we are, every business is in the software business. And that's pretty much what Jamie said to him. So Lauren got kudos for our ad campaign after that one, for sure. So through it, we actually started thinking through our different buyers, right? So our typical buyer at CA, in legacy heritage CA, was always that C-suite. And we always targeted the C-suite. And within this campaign, and as customers go through digital transformations, we realized that our buyers are absolutely changing. So you're a terrible Vanna White. There you go. So they are millennials, right? They're developers, they're users. They're not necessarily the C-suite. So yes, the C-suite is ultimately a decision maker, but the people who are actually trying out software are the users. And we really have to think about how we target the users. And they can disrupt your business. If I know we do it, our own teams are the people who actually go and get on websites and try software. And that's really important that we think that way, and we think that they can actually disrupt our selling process in our own business. So experience is everything. And when we talk about account-based marketing, we talk about our customer experience. One thing our CEO did bring to CA was a customer experience group, that we actually think about the experience, the marketing experience from the beginning that they hit our website, that experience, to the sales process, so the marketing life cycle, the sales life cycle, and then the post-sale sales life cycle. So this is just rooted in our DNA. And yesterday I was fortunate enough to sit through the CMO Council that Demandbase was hosting, and we talked about storytelling. And it made me think about, they said, oh, what's your elevator pitch? And every company has an elevator pitch. And we recently went through a process where we built our mission, right? So core values, but we said, let's just build, what's the mission of the company? And really simply put, we say, we break down the barriers for our customers from ideas to outcomes. And when I think about that, and I think about how that's internally we say it, and we say it externally, it's all about experience. And so when everything we do with account-based marketing is about the customer experience. All right, so I'm going to tell our story of how our sales and marketing teams are aligned, and a little bit about our account segmentation process. So we have an EVP of field operations, which means he has all of global sales, he's got partner sales, he's got services, and we've got our CMO. So they are aligned on the E-team level. I've got field and partner marketing, and my colleagues are corporate communications, corporate marketing, and product marketing. And under our sales teams, we have business unit aligned sales. So for each one of our business units, there's an SVP. And then we have SVPs for each one of the regions as well as partner. So I've aligned my team. So I've got a VP for each one of those regions. And then we created a global account-based marketing team. Within that account-based marketing team, I've got BU people who are regionally aligned that are actually within each one of these teams. And then I've got account-based marketing people in the regions. So they then dotted line into my global ABM team. And I tell you that because I'm going to talk to you about our segmentation model. So we just kicked off our fiscal year in April, and we changed our customer segmentation model, which it's to me perfect for our account-based marketing strategy. So we had various segments, and now we've literally changed it to, we've got enterprise accounts and we've got commercial accounts. So when I think about my enterprise accounts, they are my account-based marketing. That's my account-based marketing group. That means they have direct coverage by these people here. And my commercial accounts are covered by my partner organization. So we call it the Enterprise 2000. There's really about 1,700 of them, but we think the Enterprise 2000 sounds cool, so that's what we call it. But there's 1,700 accounts. So we'll talk about how we actually have segmented those 1,700 accounts within our account-based marketing approach.
So one of the things that we saw and why we needed to do account-based marketing at CA is the slide before, how complex the organization is. So we were selling in silos. The BUs were selling their product, and that's all they cared about. And so all these messages were going to the accounts with all these different products, no matter what we knew, what that team knew about the other team. So there wasn't that collaboration, and not only in sales, but also obviously with marketing. So that's where we decided that we need to change the way that we market to them and not just be so siloed. And one of the other issues that we saw is our digital sales teams. So all of our efforts in marketing and our inbound were going all to our digital sales teams, so that by the time it got over to our direct sales teams, they didn't know what that journey was for that customer or what we were feeding them or what was happening there. The other thing that Laura mentioned is the relationship. So it's very, very, very important we still sell to people, even though we're looking at the account. But back in the beginning of last fiscal year, at sales kickoff, the EVP of sales had the sales team kind of do like, who do you want to meet in the accounts, and then who do you already have a relationship with? And then it was very eye-opening that we had a huge white space in our relationship there. So we just really needed to understand where that was in the accounts, and we had to look at it across the board, because maybe in a different business unit they had that relationship, and the security team didn't know that mainframe had that relationship. So there was a huge white space there to where we needed to start looking at it holistically all together.
And we had a lot of procurement relationships. I mean, that's the reality, right? Sales had a lot of relationships with procurement people. We needed decision makers, and we needed to get to line of business, and we needed to get to users. So it was a really very interesting exercise, and that actually helped us sell this concept to our sales team. So why ABM? When we saw this question, and we said, I immediately thought of this as what we call Rackham. And our E-team actually came up with this, and as an 18-year veteran of the company, this was a blessing to me, because it really helps us categorize what we're doing as marketers and what we're actually across the board. So now within sales, within product, within marketing, we all have to apply this Rackham filter. So is what you're doing targeted to existing customers to retain them and cross-sell? Is what you're doing for new logos, and that's brand new logos. So when I talked about our enterprise accounts, those are covered accounts. They will never be new logos. All that commercial space, that's my new logo ground. So what are we doing to acquire new customers? Compete. What are we doing against our competitors? What are the programs that you're running to either displace or win against a competitor? And then migrate. We have customers that are on old versions of products. So what are we doing from a marketing standpoint to actually migrate customers to a new release so that we can cross-sell and upsell? When I think about account-based marketing, and my team knows this, everything we do goes through this Rackham filter, right? And less of acquire, because I'm going into those enterprise accounts, but compete, retain, migrate, really important in what we do within our account-based marketing. And that our sales teams understand this. It's a very simple way to speak to the sales teams. They get it, and when you go in and say, I'm running a retain program within this account, they understand what it means.
And that's where the messaging the right content to them at the right time is so important, because before we were just like, oh, here we have to do this, and we were just, hopefully something sticks. And we didn't even know if it was the right message or not. And a great example of that is when an account would come to our website and fill out a form. It could have been a customer of ours, or they're far down in the funnel, and they automatically went into our prospecting nurture. And they're probably already a customer, but they're going in, and it was just the wrong way. So this will help us create those nurtures and messaging across the different channels to make sure that we have that streamlined message.
And so one thing, I don't know why we lost it, but within this center, we had a target. And it said targeted marketing. It should be in that slide. But basically, we use propensity modeling and intent data. So when we select our accounts, and I'll talk about how we segment within account-based marketing, but when we selected our accounts, we actually used that propensity information and gave it to our sales teams to say, I can only serve you. I've got 3 tiers of account-based marketing. My top tier is strategic. That's really hand-to-hand, one-on-one. My middle tier we call light, and that's a bit of a hybrid. And then my lower tier is digital, and that's all digital, my digital campaigns. When I think about how do I achieve that strategic level, I can't do that to every customer. So I actually serve my account teams. This is the propensity information, and it actually helps them pick the right accounts. So instead of going in and saying, all right, you get 20 accounts for your region, pick them. We're actually advising them, and they'll consult with us now on the right accounts to pick, because they see that there's opportunity, and they see there's opportunity, they see there's white space, and they see that there's relationship white space, which is another big one for us.
So it really helps marketing be that strategic partner to sales, and not just, okay, we're going to do this. This is a campaign we're running. This is a program, where we can actually sit with them and say, you should pick this account because this is what the data is showing us, and it helps us be more data-driven marketers. So the last 12 months have been fun. So it really started all with Laura having the initiative and putting in place, as you saw in the org chart, a team dedicated to it. That is like the most important. When I sat through the certification and we talked about selling it internally, the great thing was at CA, we already had it at the leadership level. And we had to go, and we'll show in the next slide kind of who all we had to sell to in those different departments within CA. But it was extremely helpful that we already had leadership in place that was supportive to help us align and kind of change the way that we were thinking. We also did these big room planning global sessions. So we went to the different geos. So we started in North America, and we went to Latin America, we went to EMEA, and in these sessions, it was marketing and it was sales. So we had sales in the room, we had solution strategists, we had account executives, and we had our digital sales team in there to show them the strategy and why we need to do it. And during those sessions, the sales teams learned so much from each other. As I explained, the relationship, where they might have a relationship over in security, but they didn't have it in mainframe. I mean, it happened like right in front of our faces during these sessions where they were talking. He's like, oh, I didn't know you knew that. Oh, you have that meeting? Okay, let's go. And that's where we're like, you build an account plan, and it was helping us build the marketing strategy to support that account plan and bring in every single person that account is going to touch so that they understand what's going on across the board.
And we will do that for our strategic. I can't do that for the rest, but I can do that for my strategic accounts. And it's just a super important initial exercise to get people talking to each other and understanding that if you don't have an account plan, I can't account-based market and I can't build a marketing plan. So it really was, it was something to see when we had the account teams with us. We had communications with us. We had sales operations with us, critical partner to actually making this thing work.
And that great picture of Laura with pipeline is because if you're on Laura's team call or you just call her and you're talking about something, her number one question is pipeline. So that's always been a metric that we have to align to in field marketing. It hasn't really been, Laura doesn't ask me like, okay, so how many inquiries and MQLs did you get from that? It's always pipeline. We forecast to our programs and then we have to report back on that. And that really, again, helps us be very well aligned and a strategic partner with sales because I have the same goal and initiative that he does as to pipeline. So when we look at our dashboard and let's say marketing's in the green for pipeline, but sales is in the red, then we're in the red. So it doesn't even align. So it's always pipeline. And so when we talk about those business outcomes, that's something that we've been practicing at CA for a while.
And the other thing so I make a joke about pipeline if I don't say it once a day, like you have to check my pulse, and that's even on the weekends, and that's pretty pathetic. But our sales teams, so we actually have some really good operational rigor around pipeline. And we have 4 sources of pipe. We call our marketing source, marketing is one source, digital sales, direct sales, and partners. And the way the way it equates now is marketing has 20, digital sales 5, partner 20, and sales 55. So sales this year in our new segmentation is now going to be looking for our help to actually build that pipeline. So it's the stars are aligning for us. Account-based marketing, this is me saying to sales, I am giving you the gift of pipeline because I probably won't get marketing sourced credit for a lot of the work that I do in account-based marketing. I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that because I care about revenue, I care about pipeline, but I care about close one more, and I care about the stock price. So if I'm helping sales with that 55% source pipeline for them, everybody wins.
So the building out a scalable program, that's literally been over the last 12 months figuring that out. So we did some pilots with different technologies, but also internally with the different teams, with product marketing, with corporate and digital. So it was really understanding what's the best way to be able to scale this out across the company, and that's where Laura was talking about the tiers. So we took those enterprise accounts and 2,000 accounts to do those account plans and marketing strategies a lot. So we had to tier them, and we had to tier them based on the propensity that she talked about. So it wasn't just, okay, they buy a lot of stuff, they have the biggest revenue, they have the biggest white space, we have to go after them. It was really just more data-driven to understand what accounts we wanted to put in those tiers, and the resources and marketing tactics are different in each of those tiers.
Question?
Yes.
Sorry, I was going to take you back a couple bit. Understanding your bandwidth, at which step did you go, oh my gosh, this is a lot bigger than we anticipated?
Yeah.
In terms of having to have resources on it.
Yeah, so the question was about bandwidth and when did we realize, wow, this is big and we need more bandwidth. We've been kind of along the journey for the past year. And it was with just the global team, and we were trying to get our regional teams to understand it. And to the previous slide where we over-rotated on digital, we were doing all inbound. All our budget went to inbound. And so, as did our resources. So it's just turning, like I said, it's turning now where my teams realize, okay, we've got to help these enterprise accounts. There are 2,000 or 1,700 enterprise accounts. I need to resource my teams. So each one of my regional teams have now added or changed people's roles, right? To say, if we're focused on these enterprise accounts, our digital will happen in the commercial space, and we'll use our digital campaigns for that lower level of account-based marketing, but I need resources in the field. So it took us the year of kind of a little bit of pain through that last fiscal year, and then this year it worked out. So now I have people that are dedicated in the field that are account-based marketing, and they'll be metriced on it.
And to that point, those regional marketers that are aligned to account-based marketing, we're telling them you're going to have more success if you focus this way instead of just doing everything in the region and hoping something sticks. And you're more targeted and you have a seat at the table with sales because they're focused on those same accounts. So we're right there with them where we can actually be strategic partners with them.
And don't forget they're held to 55% of the pipeline, so that's always a good one.
Okay, so selling ABM within the organization, as I mentioned earlier, it was extremely helpful that we had leadership already behind the initiative and putting the resources in place and starting there. So that was kind of where it started for me. And it started in field marketing, which, as you can see around the circle, and I'll have Laura talk to it too, is there's product marketing, there's digital marketing, there's corporate marketing, there's integrated marketing, that they're like, wait, what are you doing? You're just doing to these accounts, but what about this and what about that? So it was really us going to them and showing them success from the different pilots that we ran, and also asking them the questions. Can you show me what you did for this account and what worked in this account and what didn't? And that was where they came up empty. So that's where we were saying it gives us, and they're a little bit more separated from sales to where we can tell them, now we get to go to sales and say, here's how we're going to market to them and here's what we're going to do, where we couldn't do that before. We're doing marketing this and we're doing that, and hopefully your account likes it. And so that's where it really helped us, and it was just questioning them, like, can you show us what you're doing for those accounts? And they couldn't.
And to say this entire group is dedicated to your account in some way, shape, or form, and we're actually bringing this group together to market to your account in a thoughtful way, to the people in a thoughtful way, right? So we say every account, if you're going to have an account-based marketing account, it has to have an account plan, especially in that strategic layer. You cannot have an account-based marketing plan without a relationship plan, because we sell to people, right? So it is, and so we call it an account and people-based marketing plan, because there are people, and like I said, we've got to think about how we're actually marketing to those disruptors, those users, the people who could say, I tried that, that technology is not for us. They could kill it. So we really have to be thoughtful about who we're marketing to, and we call on all of these groups. Our product marketing teams, they're a huge partner for us. Our install base, so when I think about retain and I think about migrate, I have an install base marketing team that thinks about that all the time. And when I think about my big enterprise accounts, you bet they're on old versions of our technology. And we, typical sales, you sell, you move on. And that's why they're on old versions, because I'm not going to sell them that product anymore until it's time for, it's time for a renewal. I'll come around 3 years later. We can't do that if we actually want to be thoughtful about how we market to them and we want to upsell to them. So we call on our install-based marketing teams. Customer success, tremendous. We're actually, as a company, another 40-year company, we have a goal to get into a SaaS-based, by 2020, our CEO has given us a goal. I want 50% of our revenue on SaaS-based products. That's going to be an uphill battle for us. We're an on-premise, legacy on-premise company. We've made some fantastic acquisitions to round out our portfolio, but customer success, when you think about a SaaS business, is critical. So we call on our customer success teams. Number one, they know about the accounts, right? They know the legacy of the accounts. They know that historical information, where the salesperson probably doesn't, because they may not have had the account for as long as the customer success person has been on. But a critical component of account-based marketing. Events. What events are we doing? Are we targeting the right people? Or are we just throwing events for the sake of throwing events? So when I talk about Rackham, we actually this morning put all of our events through that Rackham filter. Are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Are we doing it to retain? Are we doing it to acquire? Are we doing it to compete, migrate? If not, get it off my budget, right? I'm not paying for an event that's not actually going to benefit what I'm doing for my relationships and my accounts. Contact intelligence. So Erica referenced our the sales leader meeting that we had last year. And that actually spun up a whole contact intelligence initiative for CA. So typical, our sales teams don't put their contacts in Salesforce. They just don't, right? I mean, it just is what it is. No. And so to encourage them, we say, please, if I'm going to market to your account, we'll check it in Salesforce. We actually have now checked all of our account-based marketing accounts in Salesforce. I will not spam them. I will not market to them, haphazardly. It's a very thoughtful approach, but I need your contacts, right? So it's actually our own internal sales pitch to put your contacts in Salesforce so that we can be thoughtful about our account-based marketing. But we spun up a contact intelligence initiative and a team of people within our IT group that is just getting our contacts into Salesforce so that we can actually do this right. We can actually market to our customers right, and not just, it's the same guy that we call them smart lists in Marketo, and they're not very smart because we're sending like a mainframe guy, or a security guy, some mainframe that he doesn't want to go to that event, but we keep on inviting him. Why doesn't he ever open our email? Because he doesn't care. Right? So we really have to be thoughtful about contacts and super passionate about that. Sales, they've been a great partner, and we actually were inspired by one of our sales leaders who then last year got up and presented to our global sales leadership group, and it was actually a spontaneous presentation, and I was thrilled that he did it. But one of our regional sales leaders who has the big accounts in the Northeast said, I've got to segment my accounts. And he actually inspired the 3 tiers for us. He picked accounts and said, this one, it's a saturated account, but I have a dedicated, expensive account director on it and a bunch of solution resources, and I'm not going to get anything else out of this account. So I'm going to kind of move them here and have a different coverage model for them. And that was like, so he presented to the rest of the sales leadership team. They bought in. And then I chased him out of the room and said, you are my account-based marketing pilot. And he literally was like our initial champion. And therefore, our EVP of sales got it, right? You're speaking sales language now? I buy in. So that huge partner to us. And our integrated marketing teams who look after our campaigns, tremendous partner to us.
Oh, I didn't realize this. Hold on.
We love this slide.
So why this is slowly loading. We have. Is there another one?
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Okay. We, like a lot of other companies, there's a lot of different technologies out there, and we're working with a lot of different vendors. And again, we were working with them in silos because different groups were using different technologies. And so when we're all talking, we're like, well, what about this? They do this over here, and this vendor does this over here, and they can help you with account-based marketing. And we're like, how? So we decided to bring the vendors together in a room to workshop.
We like to call them partners.
Oh, sorry. Partners.
We like to call them partners.
Partners. So we asked them to come meet with us and we kind of turned it over to them where we showed our strategy, but we said, tell us how we work with you to make this successful so that we can be strategic partners in this and make this successful. So it was a very successful meeting. I think they learned a lot, and they were even saying, like, this is a best practice for us to use with other customers. And as we keep mentioning, and I think the number one thing for me in account-based marketing is that customer experience. Providing that customer experience across their journey and what they're doing. And I think we've seen a couple slides where the buyer's journey is all over the place, and it's just making sure while they're going through that, they're getting that same message and touch points that we want to put in front of them across the different layers of where they're at, and also with the customer side. So we have the propensity, how do we use that to select our accounts and work that way? And also in the RACM with the compete stuff. Are they even looking at these products to where we can cross-sell and kind of categorizing them that way as they go through their journey with all of our different products. So CA has such a huge thing of products that we're worried that they're going to go here and then we're going to throw this at them and it derails them and it makes that process longer for them to go through that. To where working with the different partners, it really helps us streamline that strategy and help them in their journey throughout that.
So the 3 vendors were meant to go, integrate, and demand base. And we brought them together, as Erica said, kind of asked them, hey, can you guys huddle and think about how you can work together for us, and they did. And a testament to that is this slide. We didn't build this slide. They actually presented this slide to us, and we were like, we've got to use that one. And so, and they created it for us for this session. So it's really, I mean, this was just it's a beautiful marriage of 3 partners that are on the same mission with us, and I couldn't be happier because it's really just all coming together for us.
Oh, there's one more.
I knew there was another build.
And then the analytics.
We didn't build the slide. Okay, so for the next 12 months, so I talked about sales leadership buy-in, and you know, we were like bummed that we were last today, but actually I'm thrilled that we were last because we did get to listen, and it kind of, you know, it reinforces some of the things that we're all going through. Sales leadership buy-in is critical, and that we got it. And again, you know, I always like to say, if our EVP of sales doesn't have his thumbprint on something, he's not going to buy into it. So they actually helped us build out the categorization. You win. So so we have that, and we have paved the road for our own success. The vendors as strategic partners for collaboration. It was definitely a proud CA moment for me when we had that meeting with the three vendors partners, because I felt we as a CA team showed up. We brought in people from our IT shop. We brought in people from our campaigns team. We brought in people from our propensity group. Our contact intelligence team. So we really brought all of the right people together, and now they get it, right? So it's like that internal mind share, and I have to say, I mean, it's because we picked the right partners in the form of our vendors. We are kicking off our new fiscal year with account-based marketing. So our CMO is presenting at the sales leadership meeting later this month. And she said, you got to give me 2 good slides. And I can't even pick, I have like 10 good slides, but that's great, right? So that's an endorsement. My CMO believes in it. She gets it. Again, our segmentation model, it's just kind of come together. So she realizes we've really got to target these enterprise accounts and do it right. So we'll have that, and we'll kind of get the mind share of the leadership team. We are in the process of classifying these accounts so that we can actually scale to them. So the strategic accounts with that propensity and intent data. And so the other thing about the propensity and intent data, we actually internally, because we are a 40-year-old company, we have so much historical information about buying patterns of our customers. And we've actually paired that with Mint2Go intent data. And it's actually a very interesting marriage, because then we can say, customers like this, do this with our technology. So that's actually helped us with the classification, and then aligning our programs to RACM. The big room planning, again, I mean, that was just really worth our while. We had sales leadership actually come in and participate in some of the regions, and they were thrilled. So we love that because it is a collaborative approach. And then execute, and then, you know, the checkpoints and metrics. I mean, we are data-driven as marketers. You have to be. If we don't have metrics to show that this is actually working, we will not. We'll just lose. And so, you know, that 55% of sales pipeline is my way in, and I think account-based marketing is really going to get us there this year. So key takeaways, can't say it enough. Sales buy-in, key. Data's your friend. We make fun of Erica because she's a data junkie. You show her a spreadsheet, she's like, it's like a kid in a candy store. But data is your friend, so we've learned that along the way. And then just partner with the right vendors and treat them as partners. And that's really just, I know we're set up for success because we've actually picked all the right vendors to work with. All right.
So with that, any questions?
Yeah.
I think they have a mic for you.
Yeah, we have time for 1 or 2. Can you talk a little more about how Mint2Go is looking at intent? Like, what variables would they look at when they say X, Y, and Z company is showing intent?
Yeah, so there's a ton of different intent indicators, and we actually choose those intent indicators that we want them to focus on by the different BUs. So each product is different, and it has different intent indicators. So we actually tell Mintigo which intent indicators we want in those different products. And actually, during that meeting, we went over it, and I go, you guys, when I'm looking at this in Salesforce, there's so much that I'm not being able to action on it. So now we're going back to product marketing, and we're asking them to simplify it a little bit so we can make it more actionable and we can see it and take immediate action. Because it's in Salesforce for sales to take action as well. And they're gonna, if I'm doing it, they're really gonna not touch it if it's too much. So you actually choose those intent indicators based on that business unit.
But and they can tell us too, like if customers are fishing around on competitive sites, like it's, you know, it's good stuff.
Question here. Marketing to developers is obviously very tough and challenging. Can you talk about some of the successful digital advertising solutions or programs or campaigns that you found success with?
Yeah, for developers specifically, it's a new space for us, I won't lie. So we actually acquired Rally Software, and that came with kind of the developer mindset. We do hackathons, and that's actually part of our strategy in account-based marketing. And when we talk about the marketing motions that we do within each one of the tiers, in that strategic group and somewhat in the light group, we offer a hackathon. On us, we'll come into your account, and we will, like BNP has thousands of developers. We don't market to them because we don't think about them. But so we actually go in and say, hey, we'll host a hackathon for you. So it's kind of doing a lot of that, like rogue marketing, and meetups, and going to DockerCon and things like that. You know, it's a new space for us. We say we like to market to the development community, but the developers are a brand of their own, and so we have to treat them that way.
Then, and again, to that point, Laura has a dedicated person on her team that is just focused on creating those campaigns and programs for developers.
He's a cool guy, too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Laura, Erica, thank you so much for joining us. It was
Thank
such
you.
a great story.
Thank you.